So page is 93, 94, all of these questions. So A is 1/2 plus 1/8. Again, if you envision that, you cut your pie down to the smallest bits, and 1/2 of that plus 1/8, you can see that that's 5 pieces out of 8, right? But mathematically, again, we want our 2 to be the same as the 8, the denominator. So multiples, 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10, 8, okay? 2 times 4 will give you 8. So if you take 2 times 4, 1 times 4, and that'll give you, that will lead to 4/8 plus 1/8, which equals 5/8. B, 2 1/4, 2 1/4 plus 1/16. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we can transform this into a, I thought I had my stool here, improper fraction. So 2 times 4, right, equals 8. So 1 plus 8. So that's 9/4 plus 1/16, right? And that leads us to, oh, okay, so we have to 4. 4 times what number gives you 16? 4 times 4, right? So you multiply each by 4. And then you have about 36/16 plus 1/16, which equals 37/16. And if you want to divide that, 16 into 37, 16 goes 2 times. 16 times 2 is 32. It leaves you with 5, a remainder of 5. So therefore, becomes 2 5/16. Now, if you have a whole number, and this works with addition and subtraction, you can take a bit of a shortcut. It's up to you what you want to do, but what you can do is you can take your whole number and just separate it off for now. So you just keep 2 to the side. And then you can add the 1/4 plus the 1/16. That will give you, again, you multiply each side by 4. So your denominator becomes 16. 1 times 4 is 4. So 4/16 plus 1/16 gives you 5/16. And then you put that 2 back on after that you separated off. So you take your 2 here, and then you take your 5/16 here, 2 5/16. That would also work if you want to just separate off your whole number.
I could have just gone with your 2 1/4 and then switched the times it right there, the 1/4. Like left it as a whole number instead of making it an improper fraction.
Like this, right?
Yeah, like, well, the top one there where you, right at 8, instead of plussing 8, you could have just times by 4. The 1 and the 4. And save some steps.
What, this one?
Mm-hmm.
2 times 4 is 8, right?
Yeah, but I mean, right there with just your quarter.
Oh.
Like your quarter, you could change that 4 to a 16 right there.
Oh,
instead of
so 2 4/16.
going down and everything else, yeah.
So 2 4. So you could change your fraction. So another way to do it then is you could change this into 2 4/16 plus 1/16. Right? Well, and then you change to improper, right?
No.
Or no? Oh, I see. So you could, yeah, you could just leave this together. And that's basically what we did here. We just said, okay, we'll just separate the whole number for now and deal with the fractions, right? The reason you want to do that is because if you ever end up, sometimes you'll separate, you'll have, say, a question like this. I'll show you. So if you have a question like this, 2 3/8 plus, let's say, 3/4. Okay. So if you have that question there, problem you'll run into is if you change this 2 3/8 plus 3/4 times 2 times 2 is 6/8. What you're going to end up with is 2 9/8. So you're still going to have a situation there where you're going to have to put that extra. So now you have an improper fraction. So you have to convert that improper fraction to a mixed fraction. So 9/8 becomes 1 1/8. But you have a 2 from before. So 2 plus 1. So it's easier just to separate out the whole number, then add it back in later. Essentially is what you're doing. So, but yeah, you could do it that way in that particular case because you don't end up with an improper fraction at the end.
I can put it first and put it into an improper fraction. That's what I did with the whole numbers.
So you converted.
I did, yeah. I went 9/4.
Yeah.
Plus one, yeah. And then I put back after, yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good too. It's whatever your preference is. This is probably if you tend to struggle a little bit with them, this is probably the best method to go with. This one, you might end up confusing yourself with the bottom method.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's if you're comfortable with it, if it works for you, you can use that too. It's whatever floats your boat. I shouldn't put it that way, but
My vote seems
whatever floats your boat. That sounds like I'm belittling you when I say whatever floats your boat. I didn't mean to say that.
No, I say tell that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whatever turns your crank.
I say a lot of other things. He's recording something.
Yeah, that's the problem. Different strokes for different folks.
I like that one.
Was that another one? To each his or her own.
Or them, or they. So
To
that
each.
long way.
To each their own. That's bad grammar, but okay. It's the way people talk these days.
To each his.
Just like
Her, they, them. There's Apache helicopter. Oh.
just like the Peterson's house. Says the Petersons. Wrong, because this is the Petersons house. It belongs to the Petersons possession. Plural, Petersons, more than one Petersons, and it belongs to the plural of Petersons. It belongs to all of them. So anyway, there's grammatical errors. Anytime I go and they announce who they are on their house, they're all wrong. I haven't found one right yet in Estevan, so I don't know who's teaching these people. Sure wasn't me. Or maybe I,
On my house.
maybe.
There's too many of us.
Yeah.
There's too many last names now. Created a problem. Like the majority will win, so it's gonna have to
Yeah.
win, but like.
Oh, these really things don't really bother me. Don't worry. They really don't. It just seems like it does. Okay, so again, if we want to transform two different ways, okay, way number one. Okay, we can transform this, okay, 3 times 16. 3 times 16 is 48. So then we have 59 over 16 minus 5 over 8. To get the 8 to become a 16, we multiply by 2. So that gives us 59 over 16 minus 10 over 16. Denominator stays the same. 59 stands 49. Then we do our division. 16 goes into 49 how many times? 3, 48, 1, remainder of 1. So therefore we have 3 and 1/16. 3 and 1/16. Sorry, I should, yeah. So yeah, 49/16 divided 3, remainder 1. So whole number, numerator, denominator. The other way we can do it is we can separate out that 3. So we just hold off on that 3. We'll keep that on the side. And then we'll just take 11/16 plus, minus 5/8. Again, that will become, we multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2. What we have is 11/16 minus 10/16. And then what we have is 1/16. So then we just add these two together. 3 and 1/16 gives you 3 and 1/16.
Linda's got her hand up.
Oh, Linda,
I
yeah.
don't like to interrupt, so I'm
No, that's okay. I just never see your hand. You're just way in there in the back. You're in my blind spot. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm vice president.
Wait.
But-
More and not just literally. Oh.
Okay.
She's red now, eh? She's
yeah.
the same color as her shirt now.
Okay,
Now she's even darker than her shirt.
Okay.
Okay. All right, sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I missed the first part
Yeah.
that you guys were talking about. Can I make them into improper fractions?
Like this?
Which one is that one? See?
Yeah.
I made it into improper fraction, right?
Yeah,
So 3 times 16 is 48. Added to 11 is 59/16.
yeah, that's what I did with
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Me too.
I'm just showing you that there's 2 ways to do it. So if you're doing it this way, I can do it that way, but
I just remembered from when I did this, like, when I was younger,
Yeah.
I always forgot to add the, like, right now you have the 3. I
Yeah.
always forget to add that back.
oh, you forget to, okay, so that might not work for you. Again, it's a bit of a shortcut, but sometimes shortcuts, well, you know what it's like with shortcuts.
I didn't know how to do that.
Okay, so I'll tell you a story.
Didn't.
When I was at the comp, we lived pretty close to the comp, right? And this is before I had a license and I would walk home. Anyway, I was too embarrassed to be seen walking home because I thought, oh, well, what's wrong with him? He's not in the car. So I used to walk home. Now I used to go out the back door and I'd go out the behind the school where the back of the, basically bordering on the farmer's field back there.
So-
Yeah. Yeah, where all the students went out to do their drugs in the middle of the day. No, it's, wait, that was, no, well, I don't know. I don't know. When I was in high school, they all smoked in the parking lot, it seemed like, but yeah. It was, But- well, yeah, well, that's true. No, I used to walk at the back so nobody would see me. The problem is, if you're walking back there, depending on the time of year, you're walking back there in September, you got to contend with the grasshoppers. And you have to understand that at the time, I was petrified of locusts. The grasshoppers, okay. But every time you took a step, there'd be like 15 of them jumping on you. Some of them would jump on you and then you'd have to brush them off. Some would be in your hair and that really freaked you out. And the locusts, oh my goodness. So the problem with taking certain shortcuts or going certain other routes is that it can sometimes be fraught with danger and anxieties, and you can sometimes get yourself into trouble. So anyway,
So instead of walking like a normal person in the front, you flail around in the back.
I flail around in the back, and it's probably more. Well, I think it might have still been less anxiety provoking dealing with the grasshoppers than with the people because I had like social phobia big time.
Definitely.
So yeah, so I chose the right path,
I never
but
made eye contact with them ever when I walked
oh
in the middle of winter.
well,
7 months pregnant. for the couple.
I
So
know, yeah. Oh.
I feel the grasshopper.
I don't miss I don't miss the comp at all. I really don't. But then in the wintertime it was tough because one time I thought, I think I was walking home in shoes one time. It's all this snow. And I actually had to stop. I had to stop and warm up my feet. Like I pulled them out of my boots and I warmed up my feet on the way home. So anyway, this is some of the reasons why I hated the comp. That's one of them. Yeah, well, yeah, it's smart enough to wear boots, but I was too cool for boots, so.
I was too cool for everything.
Yeah. You wear boots to comp, they'll make fun of you. You know how it is. So
Oh, yeah.
now, but boy, were we stupid, eh? Like, who cares? Wear your darn toque. Who cares if somebody's making fun of you? Like now, I'd be like,
Yeah, just wait till it snows
Seriously.
you guys watch me walk in here. Oh, I have arthritis. I wore a jean jacket from the, I didn't know it would get that cold. I came from Alberta. If it snowed, it was cold the next morning. I changed my mind. No.
okay, this one's a little simpler, so we just we don't have the mixed numbers there, so we can just make our 7/8 into a 14/16. 14 minus 3, 11/16. Okay, E, 5.5. So we have two. That's why I want you to do all of them, because we have two mixed numbers now. 3 and 7/8. Okay, again, you want to change them all to a mixed number. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11 over 2. 3 plus times 8 is 24, plus 7 is 31 over 8. 2 times 4 will give you 8, so both sides. 44 over 8 plus 31 over 8. That will give you 75 over 8. And then we do our division. 8 times 9 is 72. Remainder 3. So therefore you have 9 and 3/8. Now, if you want to take the shortcut, you just separate your 5. And you're going to add that later to your 3. And you're going to add that later to whatever your fraction is. So it's 1/2 plus 7/8, which would be the same as, what, times 4 times 4, 4/8 plus 7/8, which equals 11/8, which equals what in a mixed number? 1 and 3/8, yeah. So 8 divided by 11, right? Let's just goes in once. 8, 3, remainder 3, right? So 1 and 3/8. And then what you do is you add all these numbers together. So you have 5 plus 3 plus 1 and 1 and 3/8. So all you do is, okay, you add the whole numbers together. 5 plus 3 plus 1 is 9. And then you have your fraction left over, 3/8.
That's still a lot of work, wait.
That's still a lot of work.
Yeah,
Okay.
my paper only has like 4 numbers on it, and I'm getting the right answer.
Okay,
You're just taking it.
so Caitlin says you are taking us down a long and winding road back to your home. Okay. So Wade, you didn't have to go down the back alley. You didn't have to go and contend with the grasshoppers. You didn't have to sit and warm up your feet, because I have a sure, more direct path, Wade, to home. So you
Too
have,
many people there, though.
no, she found another one. I've shown you 2. She's found another one. 3 and 7/8. So what do you do at this point, Caitlin?
Right now, I go to my 1/2, and I put a little times 4 beside both of those.
Times 4 times 4, okay? And then what do you got? 5 and 4/8 plus 3 and 7/8, right?
Yeah, but I don't even write it all out.
You don't write it out.
No, all I write is my times 4 right there,
Yeah,
and now I know that that is 4/8.
so now you know that's 4/8.
Yeah,
So in your mind, you got this going on in your mind here.
yeah, so now it's 5 and
5 and 4/8 in your mind. This is in your mind, okay?
Yeah.
So you look at 5 and 4/8 and 3 and 7/8. So what you do is you
I go 5 plus 3 is 8,
8,
and then I have 11 over 8.
and then you have 11 over 8.
So then I take my 8 and I put it into my 11, and I have 3 left over.
Okay, so in your mind, you're going 5 plus 3 is 8. So 5 plus 3 is 8.
Mhm.
That's going on in your mind. And also in your mind is 4/8 plus 7/8, which in your mind equals 11/8. Again, that's going on in your mind, and you're saying this, and the 8 is 9 3/8.
Yeah.
That's going on in your mind. Okay? Yes. The only problem is, what I'm trying to do is, and if you're able to do that, that's great. Okay, if that's your mind. I'm showing you the way you would do it mathematically, step by step. And if you're able, and anyone at any time is able to skip steps and get the answer, or do mental math and get the answer, you're free to do that. You have to remember, when I give you an exam, if you get the right answer, you get the answer right? Now, in this particular case, I might have you show your work, but if Caitlin's showing what she does, if Caitlin just does this and then comes up with the answer, and doesn't show all these steps, I'll still have enough evidence that this is what Caitlin does, and that's fine. I can see that she did that in her mind.
And I want to know the steps, because I can do all of
Yeah,
this in my head.
and that's why I show the steps, but it's good when I have somebody like Caitlin say, this is how I do it, because then you can see, here's the different methods that people are using, and use whatever's best for you.
Just because I know it in my head doesn't mean I know how I got there, right?
True,
And,
true.
like, my daughter's gonna do this next
Yeah.
semester.
Yeah.
And she does not compute things like everybody else.
Mhm.
So I want the steps to
So-
be able to lay it out for her very carefully.
Right. No, absolutely.
She learns different.
And
I don't
some
really have a
people,
word for it, but I want the in-between part.
yeah, and some people do learn different. That's why I show different ways, because everybody's going to be a little different. Linda says, come on, like this stuff here, forget it. That's not, no, just give me this. Give me this.
And they need to leave this like this for at least the next 10 years, because I have a whole other teenager to make it through.
Well, hopefully they leave it that way. I don't know what these.
I haven't even hit high school. That's what I'm trying to get.
You know, people that haven't been in the classroom for 25 years are the ones that are making all these decisions about what we're going to be teaching.
Have they
kids.
ever actually been in a classroom?
Some of them no,
Yeah,
but
see? That's the problem.
they were in a classroom themselves, but as students, bachelor degree students, then master's degree students, then doctorates. So you know that I
We
tell
need to
this
drop
to
them in
every.
kindergarten class.
So
for-
Bachelor of Science is Bachelor of Science in Education. That's my degree. And then the next thing is you go Master of Science, and then this is called the PhD. That's your doctorate. Okay. So my dad told me before I went to university, he says, okay, you become a teacher, they're gonna, said just after they give you your degree, take everything you learned at the university and throw it out the window. I shouldn't say this while it's being recorded, but anyway, take it all, throw it out the window, and then get into the classroom, and that's where the real learning begins. So, you know what my dad said about this? Bachelor of Science, Master of Science, PhD. Said, you know what this really stands for? Bullshit. More shit, piled higher and deeper. So he says. So anyway, there's a lot of truth to that. Educated to, you ever heard the term educated to idiocy or whatever?
Yeah.
Educated unto idiocy or whatever.
Yeah, have you seen our politicians?
Well, you think Trudeau's a well-educated man?
Yeah, very well.
I think he slept through most of his university. But anyway, boy, this stuff on this video could get me fired. I should probably do another one.
We'll stand up for you, Wade.
Okay, thank you. 3 3/4.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I just
I
hope.
know.
Well, by the way, I studied at Minot State University, not University of Regina. So therefore, all right, I'm sure things at Regina are great, but that was my Minot State experience, and the teachers were great people, but again, just probably needed to spend a little more time in the classroom.
Did they
So-
treat you differently because you're Canadian?
No, I mean, they told Canadian jokes all the time.
Like from
Like-
the 70s?
Like, hey, you know how Canada got its name? A bunch of people were standing around pulling, random letters out of a hat. And they went CANADA. And after you've heard the joke for the 5th time, it's like, I mean, you really have to try hard to fake a laugh, It's like, I've heard that, I hear that once a month. And tell me a different Canadian joke next time, please.
They needed Google.
So we didn't have Google when I went to university.
It would have been more.
We had, what did we have? Netscape. We had Netscape Navigator. Okay. And when I was in high school, we didn't have the internet at all. So,
I remember DOS.
DOS.
Yeah.
It still exists.
Abigail, I apologize. I apologize for wasting your time today. But anyway, all right. So 3 times 4 is 12. Plus the 3 is 15 over 4 minus 1 over 16. So again, you want to multiply by 4 to get 60 over 16, sorry, minus 1 over 16. And then we have 59 over 16. 16 into 59. 3, 48, 11, remainder 11. So you have 3 and 11/16. There's your answer. And again, you could go through the shortcut if you want, but there's your answers. Okay, any questions about that? Everybody's good with adding and subtracting fractions? Okay. Again, that was all in your pretest and you did well on your pretest. Well, John didn't take the pretest, but oh yeah, neither of you did. You were Caitlin, but well, no, that was the group that was with me. The week you were with Pam, the new students with Pam. I gave pretests that included fractions, but everybody did well on it. So